Welcome to the special edition of The After Effect. I'm your host, Camille Blair. I'm so excited today because we are bringing you the missions team from India. Straight from their trip from Vijayawada, India, they're going to share with you their experiences, personal experiences of how impactful this trip has been, and just the whole idea of missions. You're going to hear from Apostle Mark, you're going to hear from Pastor Emjay, and several other CFM members that went on this trip. I'm telling you, you're going to love these interviews and you're going to want to sign up to go. So go ahead, let's listen in to what they have to say about their trip. Now we have Pastor Emjay who's here with us today that shares a little bit with us the after effect of this trip to India. What was it like for you?
India, it was amazing. I will do it all over again in a heartbeat. I actually got sick when I got back for like 3 or 4 days. Today is the best I've felt since I've been back.
Really?
But even if I was told I'd be sick coming off of the trip, I would do it again and have to endure it, because the trip as a whole, it was my first time out of the United States.
Yeah.
I've been to the Bahamas before, but it wasn't for missions or like a completely different culture like this one.
Yeah.
And so it was just the people there and the food and the experience and the scenery, to see so much just green. And to see people like actually grow stuff, and then it's like you're driving down the street and you see it growing, and then out working to get it, and then you see it there being sold. It's completely different, and I loved it.
Right.
Completely.
Brand new culture for you.
Brand new. I just love it.
Well, let's talk about the children, because I've talked to some of the other people who are part of this team, and I know that the children made a huge impact at the orphanages. So I wanted to talk to you about that, knowing that you were part of Emerge before Utrecht that had initiated this whole thing of trying to get these orphanages together. So what was it like to go there and experience that, to know that this is something that you were part of, literally part of?
I would say, for me, the biggest thing going into it is I was just completely unaware and blindfolded with it all. Because when you hear like an orphanage, you think of an American children's home kind of situation.
Right,
so
right.
Everything we look at is from a perspective or from an idea of what we've experienced.
Right. So
when you think orphans so I'm thinking we're going into a situation with like these, depressed children who have nothing and are, we're their only hope of sunshine they're going to see for the next year kind of situation. And to get there and it not be there and it be completely opposite.
Wow.
These were like the happiest, most energetic, loving kids I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And there's no there is a television, but I don't know if it was really worth watching. I didn't watch it, but they're like doing their studies and just eating and enjoying each other and like very basic things, but they loved it. And because of that, it helped me to see that we just have so much here that we don't need. There's so much excess. Yeah. And but I wish we would have supported more before now. But I think that it took this trip for me to go to really understand it. Yeah. That it's not so much even about the money, but just sending them something that lets them know, hey, there's people in America that are thinking about you kind of moments. And so they don't need it to feel loved, because it's very clear that these kids know they're loved. And but it's just knowing that we're going the extra mile to do something for them.
Well, let me ask you, coming back and being the leader over Utrecht, the student ministry here, how do you communicate what you saw? How do you share that with them?
That's actually, I tried to do some of that today, and it was extremely hard because what happened here. Yeah. It completely grips you. And once it's touched you, you won't forget it. You can't unknow that I went there and I saw it, and it was very real, And even people here who have a heart for the kids or may have signed up for the auto draft thing, they may be thinking like, oh man, the kids. But if they were to go and actually see, they would boost up that amount by $10, $15, $20. Wow. Because you're seeing like this money is being well spent. It's not just like, and it's not even just about the money per se, but it's more or less about the support and we have some pen pals that we were doing, that we stopped doing, that we're going to get back to doing now, because I really want them to know that we're here and that we're loving them and want to see them. So I have pictures of every kid now. So we're going to print those out, and we're going to do like a photo exchange. Like every kid is going to get a picture of their Indian student, and then the Indian student will get a picture of their American friend, and we'll do something cool like that.
That's wonderful, because we touched on that with Victoria a little earlier, and I was just asking her, for a teenager who maybe can't travel to do the missions, how can they get involved? How can they participate? And that's one of the things that she said is writing to them would be a good thing. So I'm really glad to hear that you're going to do that. Let me ask you, because I know you said that when you came back that you were sick. Was it from food or anything like that?
I don't know. To be a complete flake, I want to say it was demonic. That was my first thing to say. But I don't think it was that. I mean, any sickness and illness is not of God. But I don't know. And Wendy and Victoria both said that they were sick for about 3 days after they came back. I'm starting to believe that while we were there, the anointing of God just was on us the whole time, the whole trip, like from the time we were on the plane till we got back. And we had eaten stuff while we were there. And I'm now under the impression that, not that the anointing lives, but once we've done that journey there, like that thing kind of came off of us and we were feeling the effects of the trip. Right. Because I was tired and that thing hit me. Yeah. It hit me hard. Like I was fine. Yeah. And I was sitting in class and I was like, it is hot in here. Like it just got hot. And then I realized like, but I'm also cold. And I was like, yeah, this is not right. And I didn't take my malaria medicine. And so I'm thinking, I have malaria. Like I went on WebMD and I self-diagnosed myself with malaria. And I really thought I had it. And I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Let me ask you, this malaria medicine, is this part of your preparation? Because that was
pre-planned.
Another
it's
question.
Like you're supposed to take it 2 days before, while on the trip, days after.
Okay.
I think 30 days after, but who has time for that? So I don't know what I had, but thanks to Miss Anna and this product she told me, I'm good.
You're good. So you said that you would do it all again tomorrow. So do you have your eye on any other area, or do you think that India is the it?
India's it. I ain't going nowhere. As far as like that kind of third world country region kind of thing, my heart has to really be there. And I think the kids are the biggest reason why I was like, I could come back. We were talking about like, I would want to stay longer. Like that 4 or 5 days for me, I just felt like I'm just getting to know them. Like I'm just remembering their names. I wish I could stay, with them for a longer period of time. And I think that because I do bond with people so quickly and I do take on a need and love for people so quickly, it was very strange to meet and bond with people for 5 days and then say, hi, going back to America. It was very weird. And so I would want to go back for at least 3 weeks or something.
Wow. Do you think that you would, is this something that you could possibly do with Trey? I mean,
yes. We're going to do it. I don't know how and when the money's going to come. But I want to take at least like 8 of our teams. Wow. Maybe like a team of 8, including myself, 7 of them, Cameron, included, and us go. I think it would really change their lives. I think it really would. I really want to do that. So if you're watching the After Effect and you have millions of dollars, or a couple, thousand, or none, pray for us, or whatever you gotta do to help us get it. As long as it ain't illegal, or if it's illegal, just don't let me know. No, I'm kidding. But no, we would love to do that. So if you want to support that, please let us know.
That would be awesome. You mentioned before, I think before we started taping, about what you felt was important when you came back, how your mind shifted on that. Share a little bit about that, please.
Well, being there, we had no internet, so you couldn't be in touch with who's doing what. There was no Instagram or Facebook, no Twitter. And then because there's so much culture there was really no interest for it. The most I wanted to be on there is to say, like, look what I'm doing. And couldn't even do that. So you really had to stop and enjoy every moment for what it was. And even then, we're still like so American because everything's happening and we're like... And they're looking at us like, what are you doing? Like, it's a cow in the road. Why are you taking a picture of that? And we're like, but it's a cow in the road, you know? And so, but being away from all that and then having these moments where you're realizing what's really important.
Right.
And you come back here and you go, I've gone on my social networks and people are talking about such vain things in my eyes. And I was like, why? You know, like that makes no sense. And it's not important and it's a waste of breath. And it's just like, I think the biggest thing that I gained is like we stress and talk about stuff that is just so stupid. Like, and I say we because I do it too, but it's just like, it's pointless, you know? And so I'm thinking like, I don't know. It's America.
Yeah.
Different cultures. You know?
Absolutely. But I think that's just very valuable to share, especially with maybe a teenager who may not ever have that opportunity to travel, but to at least share that perspective. So I think that's huge.
Yeah, because our generation is a very social generation. Yeah. A lot of our world now revolves on like the instant text messaging and the instant sharing of every moment, and it's very instant. And so to not be able to do that, and then it was just kind of a culture shock for me because it's like I'm so used to like, oh my gosh, that was cool, I want to share it. But then to come back and realize like there's so much more in the world than like your Starbucks latte. Yeah. Let's talk about something like these kids in an orphanage. Give me money for them. You know, that's how I felt. But I mean,
absolutely. You have said so much, Pastor Emjay. I love it. Thank you so much for being with us today. So now we have Sister Wendy and Sister Victoria, fresh back from their missions trip. So excited to have you ladies here with us today. Thank you for agreeing to be here. And really, I just want to know, what was this like, this entire experience? You know, on this show, we seek to go after the after effect. What has it been like for you since you've gotten back and had a chance to reflect? Sister Wendy.
It's definitely been a life changer because there's a time difference for one. So it's 9.5 hours forward. Wow. So having to get your body acclimated, reacclimated with how Tampa is, that was a change. But then reflecting back on what we did and the lives that we impacted and the babies and just wanting to go again, but being better prepared.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that. Sister Victoria, how was it for you since you've been back?
The same with the time difference thing. And usually, like, I wake up at the same time every day. Not so. I slept for 14 hours. I went to sleep, it was dark. I woke up, it was dark. It's just like, excuse you, body. But, yeah, it really has been a life-changing experience. And, like, while we were there, it was one way. And, you know, you're in it, you're doing it. But after you get home and you have time to reflect, and God revealed some things that I wasn't even thinking about while I was there, and showing you and unfolding things. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Sister Wendy, I know the babies. I heard you say the babies, and I could see it on your face. They left an impression on you.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
They're just so humble, and their spirit is so joyous. And it's like you can't even tell that they don't have their parents because of the love and the laughter. And when we first walked in, they're throwing flowers at us, and they're singing songs to us, and they're dancing for us. And it's like just the joy that they exude, and they really captured my heart. They're so willing to learn, and they want to absorb everything. So we're talking, and they're repeating after us what we're saying because they want to engage. So I don't know, everything about them was beautiful.
Sister Victoria, you were part of Emerge, I think, when they first started working towards getting this orphanage up and running. What does that feel like? So I'm going to ask Pastor Emjay the same question, but how does that feel to know that you were a part of it when it started and then to actually go there and see?
It was like I said, when we gave our impact on the stage, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I wanted to literally drop down on the floor and start rolling around, but you can't do that. So, you know, I was frozen, and it was just like, God, this is what we did. We did this as a family, we built this orphanage, and these are the kids. These are the kids that we're supporting. And the car that we rode in was the car that we bought for them. And just seeing what our seeds are doing and continue to do, and what we're supporting, and seeing it firsthand and being a part of it, and seeing how grateful they are and how thankful they are and how much more there is to do. It was amazing.
I think that's what I got today from hearing everyone who went on the trip share the impact that was made on them, is that there's so much more to do. I know that I was moved in showing the video when Apostle said that there were some Indians that received their first Bible ever. Like that's huge. That is huge, and to be a part of that. Well, what would you then say to anyone who was considering either being involved in missions? How do they get involved? How do you prepare yourself to go on a trip? Or if you're not the one to travel, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say if you're not the one to travel, then any support is good. You can prepare like some snacks for those who are going, or donate like ponchos or bed covers, any little thing. You can go on a website. There's a travel website that says what's needed, and they can just donate that, or even give money towards the missions fund. That would be helpful in itself, because that money goes towards our food, and it goes towards our hotel and things like that.
Right. Because you do have to be sustained while you're there doing the work. What would you say, maybe to someone who's younger, who sees this and says, okay, well, now student ministry got involved in this, how could I do that? Maybe at 16, I can't travel, but what can I do?
Well, they could write to the kids in the orphanage. They can there's so many different ways to be involved. If you don't have money, your prayers, praying for the teams, praying for the people of the nations, praying for everyone, that is such a huge impact. So not only thinking about the physical needs that we have and that they have, but also the spiritual needs. So giving yourself to times of prayer and times of fasting, and kids can do that. They do it all the time for other things. So that's a way that you can give and be spiritually connected.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do think that's a really good word, because a lot of teenagers, if they know about it, they'll want to be involved and not know how they can. So that's great. Anything in closing else that you'd like to share just about this mission trip overall, or your next one? Maybe you have your eye on somewhere else?
Well, I definitely have my eye on going to Africa.
Okay.
But I do want to go back to India. It really made an impact on my life. Just to see the culture change, but more so to see how Dad interacted with everyone. How he got down on their level, on the floor playing with them. It was just the whole experience. We bonded closer. Everything in it changed my life completely.
Awesome. I just thought of another quick question for you. In the team itself, as you went, as an individual, did you have a role or responsibility that you had to play within the team? In addition to going out and ministering, but within the team itself?
Yes. He asked each of us to prepare, just in case he wanted us to speak. So I know with myself, he asked me to do something on deliverance. So I had to prepare that day on deliverance. So you got to be on your toes, so he don't tell you in advance. But also he asked me ahead of time if I could make sure that we all had our passports and vaccination cards to make sure that we would be able to come back and go there safely without any problems.
I was intercession. So to and from wherever we were going, always praying. And he, like she said, you need to just be prepared. Because he'll get up there, start talking, and Sister Victoria is going to say a prayer for you guys and do a special blessing. And Sister Wendy is going to get up and talk about da 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 da. And you're like, okay. But the Spirit also prepares you, because when He says that, God is already speaking, and we were already writing. And so, in every day, you saw the connection, and you saw how the Spirit was flowing, because every word He gave, everything that we did, every person we prayed for, was already prepared in our hearts. We had already, been either praying for it in the room or God spoke to us and gave us a word for it. So, not only did He tell us to be prepared, but God equipped us and prepared us for those times.
Yes.
Wow.
And we were roommates, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
So
Okay.
it was very fun.
I love that. I love that. I have to get on the next one myself. Thank you both so much for coming and sharing this with us today. It really means a lot.
So thanks for having us.
Thank you.